Going back 12 years, the very first interaction I had with gloves, and particularly in the safety industry, was a very unromantic experience. I was given the unenviable task of doing a full glove category review. And what it transpired was that we had almost 1,200 different styles of gloves in our range. And I was thinking from the point of view of a customer, how on earth do you actually make a decision on what the right glove is for the right task? Make sure you're working with your health and safety advisor. They are ultimately responsible for any decision that is made in a work environment. They are going to be the ones that are liable if anything goes wrong with any of your employees. Their job is to make sure that they've removed all risk, all hazards, all risk. That is the first step in making sure you're selecting the right PPE for the task. What do you do now? Well, you have to ascertain what the residual risk is. You have to understand what other hazards there are that are in play. And the best way to do that is to go through your history. Look at what actual accidents have occurred in the workplace. How many cuts do you have? How many bumps do you have? How many lacerations do you have to certain parts of the hand? Where has it occurred on the hand? What areas in that workplace have these lacerations occurred? And once you've established that, you can start to take the actual journey forward on what your glove selection process might be. Once you've had a chance to review the facts of the injuries or the risks that there are within that workplace, you want to go straight to the ground, straight to where your actual employees are engaging with these gloves and or wearing these gloves. At the end of the day, they are the ones that are wearing the gloves. It's not the procurement team and it's not the health and safety advisor. Highly unlikely that it's them, and it's not management. There are people out there that are wearing these gloves day in, day out, 8 hours a day on these long shifts. So making sure you've got the right selection with them buying into the product is absolutely pivotal. At the end of the day, you want your teams to be happy. Once you've engaged your team on the ground, what I like to do then is introduce what is known as a priority wheel. This priority wheel helps your team then look at a wider scope of what those gloves can actually offer. And those gloves might offer comfort, they might offer better dexterity or tactility. You might find that they want better breathability, certain elements like that. And what we do is we have a separate video that elaborates how a priority wheel works. The next thing you want to do is arrange a trial, and then you want to train the staff on how they can optimize the use of those particular gloves. But not only that, you can also help them understand that there are parameters to these gloves, that occasionally gloves can actually be harmful. If you're not using them correctly or you're not understanding the parameters of these gloves, you could actually lead some staff to get injured. Classic example, again, a gentleman who hadn't been wearing gloves for the best part of 20 years, and he had done a lot of masonry work using power drills, and a health and safety advisor had speculated or specified it was now mandatory on site, you have to use gloves. So this was the first time this gentleman was using gloves in the workspace in 20 years, and he hadn't been informed that there were certain vulnerabilities to these gloves. And as he was drilling into a wall at full speed, he was guiding the actual drill bit into the wall to make sure he got a center. And what the drill did was actually bite into the liner of the glove, and it literally broke his finger right off. Now that's a really unfortunate and it's an anomaly situation, but it can happen. So again, it's essential that people are educated about the parameters of these gloves. They're there to save you, they're there to help you, they're there to mitigate risk that has been identified, but they can also introduce other risks. And it's essential that people are trained with how those gloves should even fit to mitigate some of those risks. Having completed your trial and making sure that your employees are fully abreast of all of the information around the parameters of those gloves, you'll want to then assess how those gloves have performed, and you'll want to gain all of that feedback. Get feedback documentation, collate it all together, and then start to understand how those feedbacks align back to your priority wheel. It's imperative that when you are making these decisions, that if comfort is the #1 priority, that there is an alignment to what your employees want. If they're selecting gloves that are comfortable and you're selecting gloves based on a commercial decision, they might not align. So what we will always do is bring it back to where are we in the glove selection to our priority wheel. Having completed your thorough review of all of the trial results and you compiled all of your notes and you've made sure that you've considered all of the feedback of your employees, you want to make sure you specify the actual solution. If you're not specifying and you're not making a decision, then the entire exercise has been a waste of time. Don't let it be a waste of time. You've come this far, get it over the finish line. Once you've actually specified the product, what we'll always advise is that you again set time frames for you to do periodic reviews. The glove world is full of innovation, and there is always new developments that are in the pipeline coming through. Be bold, be brave, be willing to go out there and make sure you're continuing to give your staff the best solutions that are available in the market, because there are always more solutions available.